choice to fulfill a desire and damn the consequences, or delaying that gratification for a time, is a hard decision that a lot of us have to make, and it's not an easy one. And especially in this episode for Samurai Jack, when he hears of a magical well that can grant you any wish. But this well is guarded by three archers that have just destroyed an entire robotic army. But first, let me just also mention that's a badass robot army, man. I mean, come on, just look at those guys. Gruff, mean looking. Yeah, okay, I like these guys. Anyways, back to the story. But regardless of the danger, Jack decides that he has to go and do this. That he must get home. That after the events of the last episode, where he was betrayed by someone that he was traveling with, learning that those hips really do lie, he learns that the well is located on an island at the top of a tower guarded by the three archers. Getting on a boat, Jack leaves for the island that night. Once he reaches the island, he enters a forest with the falling snow, just covers everywhere. He takes some time to travel to the location of the tower, but eventually he enters a clearing, with the tower in the center and all around it the remains of the robot Viking army. Jack takes a single step into that clearing when all of a sudden three arrows shoot out of the sky and nearly hit his foot, just barely passing through his sandal. Realizing the danger, Jack quickly sprints his way towards the tower, just barely missing some of the arrows, but it's not enough. Eventually the arrows start hitting him directly, causing Jack to have to start defending himself, slicing the arrows out of the air, and forcing him back towards the tree line, almost pinning him to a tree and ending our samurai. But at the last moment, Jack is able to escape and duck behind the tree. But not being one to give up so easily, Jack holds up his blade to deflect the sunlight back into the archer's eyes when they aim towards him. But it seems to have no cause in the archers, for the arrows fly right at him, forcing him to stop and defend himself once again, forcing him back to that tree line, and back behind the tree once more. Confused, Jack takes off his hat and starts waving it at the archers, seeing if they'll hit that. But oddly, no arrows seem to come and hit his hat. Curious, Jack then drops his hat, and once it hits the ground, it becomes peppered with arrows, making Jack realize that the archers that he's fighting are blind and are just firing by sound. Realizing that he has nothing that he can do at this point, Jack backs off into the forest to reflect on his training to see if there's anything that he can use to defeat these archers. Deep in his thoughts, Jack remembers a lesson from the monks about how not relying on just one sense alone, but all your senses. Jack blindfolds himself and starts the training. At first, all he can really hear is just the rough sounds of a deer, but then, gradually, he's able to hear quieter and quieter sounds, to the point when he can hear the snow falling and hitting the ground. Now ready and blindfolded, Jack returns for his third attempt on the tower, and starts running right at them. The archers take aim and release their arrows, but it's to no avail, for Jack is able to hear the moment those bows snap releasing the arrows and adjust accordingly. So the arrows, they still come close to Jack, but he's able to dodge them and get out of the way, to the point where he's able to reach the tower and then everything falls silent. Curious where Jack is, the archers start moving about, trying to hear where their samurai quarry could be. And at that exact moment, Jack leaps up upon the battlements and into the air. The archers unleash their volley of arrows, peppering the spot that Jack had just been a moment ago. But it was to no avail. Jack lands down in the center of the tower, right between all three of the archers. And this is their critical mistake and their downfall. For not realizing their location, they all take aim exactly at where Jack had landed and unleash their deadly volley of arrows. Jack, now honed his skills to perfection, just listens for the arrow's flight. He hears them coming through the wind, ruffling the feather at the end of the arrow. And he just takes a single step to the side at the last moment, causing the arrows to collide and fly back to their respective archers, ending the three blind archers. Removing his blindfold, Jack looked about himself to see that the three black archers were mouse men, that the forms had started to melt away into these black puddles and return to the well from which they came from. The three archers, overjoyed to be released, thank Jack for rescuing him, and Jack simply just says that they're welcome, but he's here for the well. The archers say that it is now his, to do as he wishes. Now, just as Jack is about to cast his wish to return home, one of the archers speaks up and tells Jack that, hey, just so you know, That well will grant you any wish you have, but at a steep cost. We wish to be the greatest warriors in the world, but at the cost of our freedom. We were then charged by the well to guard it. So now Jack has a choice to make. Will he fulfill his desire and return home, but as a slave to this well? Or will he make the hard choice? For Jack, it's a hard decision, and we see him wrestling with it. Until eventually he brings up his sword and slices down at the well, destroying it, preventing it from doing any more evil to anyone else. Making the right decision, delaying his desire to return home. Because if he had returned home as a slave to the well, then who knows if he would have been able to actually defeat a coup, or maybe he might have joined a coup, or he might have been a worse master than a coup. It just wouldn't have been the right decision to make for Jack, in my opinion. Now, I gotta mention, I really do like how they incorporated the nursery rhyme of the three blind mice into this episode. You don't really see that nursery rhyme used in a lot of media nowadays, so it was kind of nice to see that an old nursery rhyme was an inspiration for the archers in this episode. So I gotta appreciate that. Also, come on, we gotta all admit the badassery of those Vikings, man. They were fantastic, dude. I love those guys. Like, come on. It can't just be me who likes the Viking robots. Now, my favorite part of the episode, if I'm honest, was when Jack was actually doing his training sequence, having to relearn skills that he had and figure out how to get around the archers, never giving up. I love that sequence for a couple of reasons. First reason, we gotta see Jack back in the past training, still not quite a full-fledged samurai that we see right now, still a man in training, still improving his skills and needing to get better at all his abilities. Also, I like that he had to take a step back and just relearn skills that he had either cast away or hadn't appreciated as much as he should, so that he could come back and face the three archers. I thought they told that part of the story very well. Also, I personally really appreciate how they really made it that the two lessons that you could learn from this episode is first, to never give up, that if you're finding yourself facing obstacles in life, is to face them head on. And if you fail, don't just say throw in a towel and give up. You gotta go back, train, and then come back and try again. Take a different avenue or a different approach. So I personally appreciate that they had that lesson in here. Also, the fact that they taught delaying gratification. As a young person back in the day, I can say I definitely appreciate that lesson. So the lessons that they taught for the younger demographic, I think they did a very good job here. Overall, I give the episode a 9.5. Pacing was fantastic. Visuals, once again, were great. The storyline, I thought they did a great job. And they had some moral lessons I thought they did a good job in there as well. Also, to be honest, this is my third favorite episode of all Samurai Jack. So I might be a little bit biased in that decision, but I really do think that this is a fantastic episode that anybody of any age can get lessons from, especially that younger demographic that this show is made for. So I just have to say, well done, guys. Fantastic. You did a great job creating this episode. But hey, thank you for watching. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Thank you for watching. You take care now. See you in the next one. Bye.